Hello, welcome to my channel on this rainy day that brought the heat temperature down. So I decided it's a good weather to make some nice patha. These are madumbe leaves that I found in my son Pritesh's garden, which I think he didn't know it was madumbes. And then I said it gives me a great idea to show the viewers how we make patha from scratch. This particular patha, it's a nice big leaf of which I'm going to keep. I use this leaf for the steaming purpose for the bottom of the patha. I will show you how it's done. These leaves are waterproof.
I think the technical term, if you want to know, is that they have a hydrophobic layer that repels water when it's raining and when you water the plants.
So normally behind these leaves a lot of spiders make their homes because they won't get wet. This is the way we clean these leaves. There's a stem out there, so we pull the leaves right all over the vein, having the stem still on. We have to work with the stem to pull it right through the vein. After doing that, we can chop off this stem. And I have with me 10 leaves, and they're not the same size. So I'm going to be very careful when putting them together. You don't slit off the vein because then you will have the leaf tearing. I'm going to clean the rest, and I'll get back to you all after the cleaning is done. I rinsed every leaf individual, but I still had to pat them dry with a paper towel. After I've done this, I'm going to show you all how I roll in my patha with the rest of my ingredients. Now I'm going to show you all how I make my filling for my patha. There is a lot of ingredients to go in it, but I will go very slowly through it. I have here 250 gram chilli bag mix. Together I have a tablespoon of mielie and 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And then I have our imlee. Pranesh will say you the English word.
Tamarind.
There are 4 tablespoons, and I'm going to dilute it with half a cup of water. Here I have 3 tablespoons of sour milk. You can also use yogurt. Then I'm going to use a teaspoon of lemon juice and a teaspoon of vinegar. Then for the taste, I have 1 teaspoon of fine salt and half a teaspoon of sugar. I've got 1 small onions grated and 1 small tomato that's also grated. And then I have here 5 cloves of small garlic and 3 green chilies, but you can use green chilies for how hot you like it. So these things will also be crushed down. Okay, for my masalas, I have half a teaspoon of hurdee, half a teaspoon of garam powder, half a teaspoon of dhania powder, and half a teaspoon of jeera powder to bring a whole lot of flavor. So I'm going to crush in my chilies and garlic together. Okay, this recipe is my mother's recipe. Now she's late. When we lived out there in the Sizela village, we used to have a lot of madumbes growing. So we used to use the whole plant, the leaves and the stem and the madumbes, and we used to have plenty of them. So usually my mother used to use the pea flour, but thereafter she has to grind up dhania seed and jeera seed after roasting, giving it a grind. But now with life becoming a little much more easier, we got it all ground in the chili bite mix. So I am using the chili bite mix. Last week we tried this recipe and it came out very nice. Then to this chili bite mix I'm going to start adding in my ingredients. This is the minimal, the all-purpose flour, the sour milk, and a tablespoon of lemon to avoid the madumbe leaf from cutting in the throat, and a tablespoon of vinegar that helps the leaf from staying in a soft finish, the sugar, the salt, the onions, tomato, and these are the masalas to bring out a lot of flavor. And my ground chilies with the garlic. With the same hand, I am going to break in my imlee and add in the water to dilute. There's a lot of seeds, but I'm going to use it gradually into the mixture. Now you can see with my same hand, I'm not rinsing off my hands because this is what I'm going to do. Mix all these ingredients up all together. And quickly I'll go to the sink, rinse up my hands and remove these seeds that come out from the imlee. I'm going to use my imlee water to make a batter, but I wouldn't make a very runny type of a batter, neither a very thick. It must be just right for me to smear on the leaves. So I'm going to do this gradually. Using your hands are the best. Let us see what happens here now. So this batter needs maybe a little more water. It's slightly thick. I'm going to pour in a little water. I'm still using my hands. I do have a mixer, but as I say, the hands are the best. Okay, this is how our batter must be. Not too thick, not too thin. There you are. I'm giving my counter a good wipe because I'm going to use the counter to work on. Okay. So I take out the biggest leaf. Still using my hands. You can't do it a better way without using your hands. You had to use your hands. And then I'll smear the leaf up. That's the first leaf. Let us take the second leaf, put it on top of the first leaf. Don't worry if your leaves are torn.
And you alternate the direction of the leaves.
You can, because this leaf was torn in the bottom, so I put a good leaf on top. I will try to work with the bigger leaves, and then the inside I'll use the smaller leaves because I had to turn. I have to roll this like a Swiss roll. With the smaller leaves, I put 2 on one layer, and I always use the smaller leaves for the inside. So this is the last of the batter. I'll try to sneak it, but it doesn't matter if you don't have that much. Get much out from the dish, and then it's done. Yeah, you can see got most of it out. Now I'm going to wash my hand and get back. I'm ready to roll up my madumbe leaves, but I'm not going to roll it up too tightly because when steaming, these attas, they expand. So this is I'm going to do very carefully. This is a roll. Let me just wipe up my counter. Usually we use a string to tighten these leaves together, but I've got a nice neat piece of ribbon. I always use to tie up whatever I'm making. So I'm gonna start to tie my ribbon over. It's quite a messy job though, but I had to wipe my counter in a later state. I won't go very tight. As I told you, the flour has to expand when steaming. Here you go, my nicely wrapped up patha. It looked like I'm going to present this to someone. Now I'm ready to steam out this patha. I don't have a steamer, but I'm going to make do with the easiest way that I know to steam out my patha. This is what my mother used to do when we were growing up. So I have here a very old pot and I have 2 liters of water, and I've got my stove on. I increased my heat. Then I'm going to use this pot into the water to raise my grate. With the spare leaf that I have, I'm going to allow it to sit into the pot, and then I take in my patha roll and I will place it. After it steam out, I will cut out the edges properly and make it look decent. So that's it, and here I have a small tip. This is the lid for the pot. So beneath I've got a dishcloth and then my cheesecloth, and I'm going to set the cloth by tying this. So when it starts steaming, the steam water, this cloth will avoid the steam water from dripping to the patha. This will be left for about an hour. It's going 20 minutes and I just wanted to see the progress on this. You can see it's steaming up nice. And because I took note that most of the steam is escaping, so I have this heavy mortar to try to seal the lid so the steam don't escape. I'm going to let it steam for another 40 minutes, but I'll keep watching on my water level. It's been an hour and 10 minutes and most likely it's looking like it's done. So we're going to put this into our tray and let it cool for a little while and then cut and show y'all. And while this was getting done, I rolled up a few puris. So we're going to put some in the oven and have it with our puri. There you are, our patha roll. I will need this to cool down a little, and then I'll be able to cut, and I'll also tidy up the edges, and then I'll have a few slices to put in the oven. Here you go, my patha roll has cooled down and Pranesh helped me to slice it. You can see how it's done. It got nice filling. And these are the edges that we cleared from the side, but for some point we can also fry and eat them. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to put 6 of these patha into the oven to cook out, and then I can show you all how it's done with my puri. I did a puri recipe some times back. You can follow on. I'm using raw cooking oil. So I'm turning it on both the sides. And the rest of the patha, they freeze very well. I will cling wrap it and freeze it for another time to use. There you go. It's looking identical to the patha that we buy from the store. but it's quite a lengthy job. Now I'm going to pop this into the oven for about half an hour, turning it within 15 minutes. My oven is already preheated, 150. In 30 minutes we will take it out and show you how it's done. Now I'm ready to take my patha out from the oven. Isn't the pathas look nice, Pranesh?
Yes, they are a nice snack for me late in the afternoon.
So, while I was steaming out the patha, I made my puri, as I told to you all. And now, just going to set up my puris. I'm going to just dribble a little bit of lemon juice. And thereafter I'm using some sweet chili sauce. Okay. There you go. Lovely homemade puri patha, which Pranesh is going to enjoy with his coffee after a very long day's work. Thank you all for watching and enjoy.